I mean, the only thing I have different camera setup here, and can circle around the cameras. But this is, I mean, then you will decide which camera setup you will use. So that's fine with me. And I just need maybe put it somewhere on a Dropbox or so, and I upload it to YouTube then, and then to the podcast thingy, because it will become a podcast as well.
I have it set to recording right now, so just as a backup. Or
okay, good. Yeah, then just let's start, and let's just, because I'm getting annoyed with that. I don't want to, because for me it's late here, and I don't want to drag on for too long. So let's officially start now. Hello, guys. How are you?
Doing great, man. How are you?
Doing fantastic.
Yeah, I'm feeling a little bit hot. I don't know if you have seen the other recording before. I was kind of almost naked in it. But I don't. Don't watch it. Don't watch it if you haven't watched it yet. And I don't want to open the windows now, because here it's already a nighttime, and when all these bugs will come in, and as my mother used to say, I have very sweet blood, and I get stung a lot by mosquitoes and all these other not so nice thingy things. So, but anyway, I know that you're kind of spread all over the United States. So maybe just we do a little round, and everyone introduces with just a few sentences himself, because it's just male people here on the call, and just say where you are and what you play, and then we take it from there.
Sure.
Okay. So I see Matthew. Let's start with Matthew.
All right. So my name's Matt. I'm from Central New Jersey, from a town that's literally called New Egypt. It's a real
New
name.
Egypt.
Yes.
Really? Cool.
Not a country. It is a town. There's like 2,000 people in it, and my neighbors own goats. So it's very, very small.
Let's go.
But I play bass in Colorado Straightedge. Could not be having more of a fun time. And just as like a pretext for anyone who doesn't know about our band, we all lived in the same dorm our freshman year at a school called Vanderbilt University, which is in Nashville, Tennessee. So if you're wondering why it was kind of easy to find such talented people to play with, at least from my perspective, I'm so lucky to play with these guys. I got a little lucky with being in Nashville. So that's me.
What a sweetheart.
So you want to go, John? Just continue.
Yeah. Let's do it. So hi, my name's John. I live in Henderson, Kentucky. It's like Western Kentucky. It's currently 2:21 over here, Central Time. I play guitar, but in the band I sing, and I do most of the recording since we're all spread out over the states. We can't all record together. So far it's just been me in my bedroom doing this stuff. So
cool.
You sound great, John.
Yeah. Thank you, man. Thank you.
And so my name is Pierce Bivens, and I live on the island of Kauai in Hawaii, which is very far away, and we have a whole separate time zone, so it's only like 9 a.m. here. And I play a bunch of instruments, but mostly guitar. And in the band, I do a lot of songwriting and guitar playing and stuff like that. Yeah.
Okay, so it's kind of you're spread all over, and your drummer couldn't make it tonight or today or whatever, wherever you are, whatever you call it. Yeah, so there's a fourth one, but anyway,
yes.
So basically you started because you were all in the same dorm, and so you met each other, and after your college, or what was it?
Vanderbilt.
What's it called? Vanderbilt.
Yes.
It's a college.
Yes.
Okay, and then you kind of got spread out all over United States.
Yes. So I'll give like a little bit of backstory. So the one person who isn't in this call today, his name is Nick, and he's from Chicago, and he's a drummer. We met because he's my roommate, and before we came to school, we kind of talked about how we wanted to make and produce music together. eventually like do some songwriting, release something on Spotify. So that's how the two of us met. John and Pierce, and I'll let them speak more to this, but they lived on the same floor of their dorm. I remember I don't even know, John, I never even brought this up to you. The first text I ever sent you was, yo, is this Guitar John? Because I just someone just told me, oh, there's Guitar John, the floor too.
Yeah.
And then Pierce I met because he loved to just lounge around on the common floor of floor 2, usually without socks on, sometimes with his guitar, just jamming out. And so I don't know if you guys want to speak to how you met each other.
I don't know. I mean, like, it's one of those things, like, you just see him around the dorm hall. You know, you pop into the bathroom, you see him brushing his teeth. I'm like, it's my man. You know?
I do not remember meeting you, actually. That's kind of funny. I don't remember meeting you.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's just, it's one of those things, like, we met, and just everything went from there, you know?
I remember us both, like, separately jamming in our dorm rooms, though.
Yeah. There was one time you came over, and I think our friend Jacob, he's in the Melodors. He's the beatboxer, so you can check out those guys, too. But him and somebody else was in our room, and then you joined us for, like, a little jam sesh. I was like, fun. Oh, my God. I was like shaking and trembling because I was so intimidated by his guitar skills. You know?
Not okay.
It's true. It's true, bro.
That's a big.
I was like, I gotta show up. Oh my God.
That's a meme.
Okay.
I guess like the time that we actually formed, me and John, I decided that we should go just like play on some events on campus just because I don't know, we both love playing music whenever, wherever. And so we found some kind of like local gigs. It's national, so it's easy. And plus being on a college campus, the social events are just really easy to come by. And so we unknowingly went to the same kind of like open mic that Pierce did. Pierce, I don't know if you remember this.
No, of course I do.
Okay.
Yeah.
As soon as John and I finished our set, Pierce just yelled out, "All right, Matt, I'm joining your band." And that's how.
So how long ago was this? I mean, how long have you been together?
Well, like 5 months.
Yeah.
Oh, so short. So
something like that. Yeah.
We literally formed the week before being sent home from coronavirus.
The week before being sent home.
See.
And then we released a bunch of music at home, like in quarantine, having not done it together, having just like randomly added multiple things as a band. It was really.
Sorry. It's really strange. I mean, let's talk about this. It's actually because, I mean, a lot of musicians at the moment have this issue. And you know, the cool thing is also, I'm a musician myself, and I kind of do it also all over the world, collaborating with other people. So, but anyway, this is maybe a good topic to talk about how you work now. I mean, you just got together and then were thrown apart, basically, right?
Yeah.
So this is how it sounds, and but you still continue to do music. So yeah, just talk about this. How you gonna do this now? I mean, it's pretty tough because everyone has to record his own stuff at home, basically.
Yeah.
And then you put it together.
We just happen to have John, who plays every instrument. And so if I, for example, write a song, and this has happened now, I can just send John what I want the song to sound like, and he can do it at least as well as I could ever do it.
But wasn't he intimidated? Who was intimidated of whom?
He's joking. No. He was not intimidated.
Oh, he was joking. I see.
No, I mean, you know. Yeah. So like pretty much, you know, if anyone ever has an idea for a song, they'll be like, you know, they'll send like a clip of it to the chat, chat. I'll be like, okay, give it a listen. And then either they'll text me or like I'll just like do it on my own or something, and I'll kind of work on a little version of it, see if I can replicate it or like kind of, you know, get it going. And then and that's pretty much how most of our stuff came to be, you know. Oceans, I think that was the only one we did like while we were still at school. But at that point it was just me and Matt. You know, it was like some idea Matt had. I'm like, okay, I can help you record this. And we did it together. And then everything else since then has been just like we were talking about, like remote from across literal oceans, you know, for Pierce. He'll send us a song, you just listen to it, and then we'll see if we can work it up in the studio. So that's pretty much
okay.
it.
And the studio is your home studio, basically.
It is. It's just, yeah, we're here right now. As a matter of fact, it's just my bedroom. So
this is the studio.
Yeah, I mean, this is a fascinating thing that today, it's so easy to make music, and even now with you guys remote, it's still you don't have to break up. I remember. I'm a little bit older, so I remember when somebody moved away, you have to replace it with someone else, and you can basically stick together. I mean, so how is the situation now in the States? Because is there I mean, how is the future now for you that you can kind of come together as a band again? Because I guess what you really want to do is play live and, do little shows.
Yeah.
So this recording stuff is just to kind of hold you over until Corona is maybe, hopefully one day over. So what's your plans for the future, basically?
If the government could get its act together, that would be nice. But as far as right now, I mean, I may not be going back to college. We'll see. But I don't think I am, because I don't think that they're going to stay open this semester, to be honest.
Mm-hmm. Mm.
Yeah, a majority of schools are closing down. But my initial idea with this band, and it's definitely a more unique one in terms of strategy, but I would love to just release a single every month for just, as long as we can keep going, really. The way that we kind of operate, and the fact that we're also spread apart, is that doing a cohesive album with kind of like an intertwined subject is a little difficult to achieve when you're so spread apart. I think an album is definitely something you got to be all on the same page, in the same room, talking it over, recording together. And so singles are really fantastic for our situation, because they're just these one-off songs. So I know Broke, for instance, which is our most current single, Pierce wrote that whole song, recorded a voice memo, sent it over to John, and you're hearing John's voice, John's guitar, John's playing the bass for that. And I mean, John, he did pretty incredible. And so just like for the future, I mean, I'm kind of complimenting my own R&B music here, so I don't know how relevant it is, but that's basically my strategy. Is that
it's fine?
Thank you. What we're seeing is that month after month, our Spotify monthly listeners just keep growing and growing, and what I see our numbers as is just kind of just exponential growth. If we just keep releasing a single every single month, the idea behind it is people are going to stumble upon, say, our latest single, and then go back, see our entire discography. And what we managed to do is, with literally one single week of being together as a band, we've managed to put out 4 singles. We have a 5th one coming out in 10 days now, something like that. We're going to put another one next month. And so the idea really that we're trying to do is get out as much original, good, creative music as possible, while also allowing enough time for each individual piece to get its own kind of attention.
To kind of have time to breathe, basically.
Exactly.
And also, in this day and age, as far as I understand, it's actually not a bad strategy, because what you're doing is you slowly accumulate followers, and when you release something, they have it in their release radar. Radar is German, sorry, in their release radar. And so they get, oh, there's a new single coming up, and they listen to it, and then they spread it. And so it's actually for this time, it's not the worst strategy, because I heard or I read somewhere or at a podcast or something that today it's really silly to have a big album, that you put out every 3 years or 4 years, a big album with 12 songs and whatever. It's better to have little EPs or maxi singles, or like you do now, singles, because when you have some constant stuff, you today, with everyone being able to do music on their smartphones, it's really tough to stand out of a crowd, you know, to come above all these noise that is out there, you know, all this blur. And so in a way, you kind of stick your head up every month with a new single and say, oh, we're still here, we're doing it, and stuff. So it's not I mean, it's not the worst strategy, and it seems to work for you, as you just said.
Yeah.
The only thing where I
is somewhat successful.
Pardon me? Just can you
and all the singles have been somewhat successful. I mean, it's so far worked.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know, yeah. The only issue I can really see in this is, but of course, you know, as a band, like you said, Matt, you want to be together, and you know, I mean, you're doing it still together, but it's something different. I don't have to tell you that if you're in a rehearsal space together jamming, then just saying, oh, I have an idea like this and that, it works, but it's a different process, basically.
Of course.
Yeah.
And you know, like we would all love to. I think there's literally only one time where we were all in the we had a recording studio on campus, and it was just so much fun being able to jam with these guys. I mean, me especially, like, and I think I said this before, but I just consider myself so lucky to have found such talented people to create music with. And you know, people say that our generation, with like the attention economy of today and how people are kind of glued to smartphones and stuff, how albums are less relevant. People don't have like the attention span to listen to them. And while that may be true, like I can tell you, just from our perspective as all music lovers, like we definitely grew up on albums. We've listened to them, but I really do think that with just in general, our generation, and looking at our numbers, our audience is mainly college age students and younger. I think that there's less demand for an album. I think that people would rather see you trickle out kind of 12 singles over a year rather than you drop an album and then you're kind of irrelevant after a month or two. That's just my perspective with it.
Yeah, it's mine too. I think if you're once a big accomplished band, you know, like Rammstein did now an album after I think 10 years or something. So, and it's widespread, you know, but they are already accomplished and have a big name in the. I think you might not know Rammstein, but you might call them Rammstein. You know them? Okay, good. Yeah. Anyway, but for an upcoming band like you are, it's the better strategy, of course. You know, to have this. Another thing, what I'm kind of who does the artwork? You know, who's the guy with the cover artwork and the, you know, the visual representation of the band. It's also an important thing, at least for me.
Yeah.
So, for our first single, my girlfriend's sister did it, and then for the next ones, I think Matt's done them.
Yeah.
Real quick.
Uh-oh.
Oh, Matt's gone, but yeah, he's done all the artwork.
He's going to show something.
There we go.
Exactly. I remember. I saw that.
Then we have Broke.
Hey.
I got.
Well done.
I got a little Smurf. I don't know where he is, but that was the other missing piece to it. But yeah. I've had a really fun time doing the cover art, and I don't even know if my band knows this. You guys might know it, but my grandma she's an artist, and she does like watercolors for a living. And I inherited none of her creative genes at all. Like, so I thought, but
who are you?
I borrowed a camera, and, you know, I mean, what I love about doing the cover art is I just think it's that final touch of like the true indie band of like, you're doing everything yourself. We're doing we're self-produced, from the cover art, songs, the writing, everything is just done in-house. And as far as like ad budget is concerned, we haven't spent anything. I know that we found you through Submit Hub. We did a trial with some premium credits there, and with the results, I think we're probably just going to stick with just not spending. I mean, I don't know about what our budget's going to be for the future. I don't know if we want to put it towards getting songs professionally, mastered, or if we want to do something like Instagram or Facebook ads. It's we haven't really we have explored a little bit, but from like our perspective, you know, for us to have a song, and I really don't mean it in like a braggy way, but Oceans is at, I think it's like 15,000 right now. I just could not have imagined that being possible.
Without any advertisement besides Submit Hub.
Yes, correct.
Oh, wow,
So,
that's really good.
Thank you. And basically what that's doing is if we can kind of get these results, so we have Oceans at around 15,000, our next song Apple Pie is at around 5,000, and then our two most recent songs, Broke and Best I Can, are both over 1,000. And so for these 4 songs, for us to get those results without spending any money, I mean, I don't know how much higher we can go without getting like the help of a label, you know, because we're doing this all just the 4 of us marketing.
I'm not really, I mean, we can talk about labels. I can only give you my perspective, but anyway, what does Pierce says about labels? It seemed like you wanted to chime in.
Oh, no. I actually wanted to ask what your opinion was on that, because it seemed like...
Okay.
Yeah.
My opinion, I mean, if you want to hear it, it's, I mean, first of all, through Submit Hub, you also can find labels. You know, you can submit to labels if you want to. And I did this a couple of times, but I had also run-ins with labels before. And the truth is, I mean, this is smaller labels. Let's take this into consideration. But the truth is, it seems like labels live from small artists now, because you have to pay them to promote you. So it's really stupid. It's kind of like pay to play. So I cannot recommend it at all. I had a run-in, like I spoke with 5 different labels, and it was more or less the same. I mean, sometimes it was a little bit more, oh, we do this for you, or we help you to find other artists to do remixes with, and then you will go get played in these clubs and stuff. And I mean, of course, this was pre-corona. And so, but in the end, it was all okay. And then you pay us this X amount of money, and we will promote you. So, and I'm pretty sure you guys, you know, you're young and not stupid. If you really want to promote yourself, you can do it with your own apps or whatever, or how you do it right now. It seems to work. And this is a little bit more of a grassroots approach. I think it's much better, you know, than to, I mean, much better. It's like, sometimes it can help to push it a little bit, you know, like I did now for the first time in my life, I did a playlist promotion, and it seemed to work quite well. I got a lot of new followers through this, because I wanted to also, you know, I'm usually a radio DJ and now doing this podcast, but I also have a Spotify playlist where I featured you in. And and I wanted to get a little bit ahead. So I did it for the first time, and it worked quite well. I found a guy in the UK who did it for me. He's also on my playlist. And so, you know, I found a lot of different people. I really like to do that, like talking with you now and stuff. For me, it's a nice way to just connect with people, because the cool thing is music is an universal language, you know? I mean, it's kind of, we just have something to talk right away, you know? It's where is no boundaries, because I'm certainly a lot older than you guys are, and but still we can learn from each other, you know? I learn what you do, and we talk about this, and I can give you my perspective, like with the labels. So anyway, to maybe just change end the topic of labels. I think for you, no. If a big label will ask you and say, okay, you know, guys, we really love your stuff and we want to promote you, you know, and we want to do that, maybe do it. But from even big label things I heard, the return is not really well. So you know, like Matt just said, it's really nice to be a hands-on independent band that you do everything on your own. You know, it's kind of it makes you feel much more empowered and yeah, you're in charge of everything. This sucks because you're in charge of everything. You have to do it. You have no one else who gonna help you, besides maybe, some other people you might find. And this is maybe my real advice I can give you. Start networking. Start networking as much as you can, because I found a lot of interesting people through what I'm doing, radio DJ. For me, it's easy. I have a lot of bands. I have a weekly radio show where I play between 10 to 15 different bands. And so I connect with them. So, my net is vastly growing. And so I would just encourage you to do the same. Do collaborations. How did you do that? I talked with this guy from the UK, and he just gave me some other hints how I can get my playlist a little bit better featured, without buying followers who don't do anything, just that number on there, because they don't, it's silly to do that. So yeah, this would be my real advice. And if a label knocks on your door, check it out. It might work for you, but my experience so far is, you don't need it. And it has also, it has the, how you say, this sweet, I don't know the right word now. It has some nice touch to it if you just do it everything on your own, because it's kind of your thing and people notice this, That's why I ask who did the artwork, because for me, as you know, I get lots of songs sent to me, and the first thing I see before I listen to the song is, of course, the artwork. And if there's am I allowed to swear here? If there is beep artwork, then I'm kind of like, this looks like somebody photoshopped something really silly together, and I'm kind of already down a notch with listening to it. I will listen to it anyway, and I was proven wrong as well. Sometimes some people really don't care about artwork, but I think it's stupid. But anyway, and the song is still great, and I will still play it. But if the artwork is nice and well thought through, and when the song is nice, then it's kind of just a few steps ahead over the competition, basically, So maybe this is a helpful perspective from you, because I get a lot of stuff. So take care of good artwork, so that it's really standing out a little bit, and it shows that somebody has thought about it, what he wants to say, that there's a message to convey. And also, of course, I remember your song was well produced, so I wouldn't say that I could pick up right away that it was home produced. It's very well done. So props to John.
Much obliged. Thank you.
No, but on the other hand, I mean, this is the beauty of today, right? So there's tutorials out there and tools and whatever, and remember back in the days they had tape, and they had all these machines they had to have, and today you have virtual machines and whatever, and can compress and do this and that. So and I guess maybe talk about a little bit how you do it, because your sound was actually, like I said, I'm not a good critic in a way, or I don't really care, if I can, how do I say it? I like a good song, and a good song sometimes doesn't need too much overproduction. It can be too polished sometimes, and then it loses its taste or its flavor. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Sometimes it's a little bit good if it's still a little bit rough and not too well overproduced. At least this is my perspective. So I have to admit, I don't really, I couldn't say that it was home produced, which I already said. So I lost my train of thought, but anyway,
It's okay.
I wanted to give over to you and maybe you talk a little bit how you do it, what you use, maybe for other users, listeners that they know how to make a good sound, basically.
Of course. Okay, so yeah, I'll kind of just go over the gist of it. So, cheap, Focusrite, Scarlett interface.
I have one too. I have one Focusrite
my
too.
Man.
A red, yeah, the red one, or how do you call it?
The classic.
Scarlett.
Yeah. And then cheap, once again, MXL 990. You can't go wrong. It's pretty decent mic for the money. Let me think. I do have an Axe Effects, which I do a decent amount of the tracking on. It kind of just depends on how I'm feeling. Like if I want to set up the mic on my Marshall. But yeah, so it's just like a pretty standard setup. I got Pro Tools on my computer, and I just plug and play for the most part. The only thing that we don't do in person right now, or like actual instruments, is are the drums. Because I do have a drum set and I can kind of work out stuff on there if I want to. But as far as recording that, I don't really have the capabilities because I don't have like an 8-track mixer.
An electronic drum set, a real drum set or an electronic one?
Like so on the recordings, a lot of it's going to be electronic drums. I might like record like other like auxiliary percussion in person, but I don't, like I said, like I don't have like an 8-track mixer to actually mic up the drum set. Not to say you couldn't do it without one, but you know, for the kind of thing we're going for, easy drummer, it does the trick. What can I say? You know, like I said, like it's not ideal, but gets the job done. Got an M Audio, a little keyboard that I play some stuff on from time to time. And then like all the plugins, all that stuff is just like, you know, stuff you can get on the internet. So it's acquired over time.
As you are so versatile with all these instruments, so how did you learn all of this? Because, you know, I mean, you're quite young and you play all these instruments. So maybe tell us a little bit about that.
Sure thing. So I learned how to play guitar because I got a cheap knockoff Strat for Christmas in like the 2nd grade. And I was like, well, I'm gonna learn how to play this thing. It'll be kind of cool. And for the longest time, I just played like, you know, the standard like easy kind of rock songs. So, you know, you learn like Boulevard of Broken Dreams, you know, like you know what I'm talking about, bar chord stuff,
four chord stuff, yeah,
exactly,
master chords and stuff, yeah, I know.
So in the end, like I think I got a little bit more serious about guitar, like maybe 9th grade or something like that. I was in another band back then called 5 After 5, and we did a lot of playing in my hometown and kind of like regionally. So, and that was all done live. So we learned a ton of songs. We wrote our own original music. And by doing that, it kind of required me to have to improve and get better. And also through that process, like every time we learned a song, I would always like, I mean, of course, like it's just like more and more practice. And then more recently from doing the recording, I've had to kind of learn how to play piano a little bit. And as far as drums go, that's just like, I don't know.
So you're basically all self-taught. You're all self-taught, or did you got lessons or something?
I had some lessons. Yeah. A guy named Shane Amar in my hometown. He's like a pastor at a church nearby, but awesome guitar player. And yeah, I used to play with him a decent bit. But as far as like, you know, like I think improving a guitar or really any instrument at all, it's going to be a lot of like pretty much up to you to put in the time to get better. So yeah, I'd say like I'd have to attribute most of my progress to just practicing and yeah, mostly just stuff on the internet and whatnot. But yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah. How old are you guys anyway? You know, I haven't asked you that. I mean, if it's not an indecent question.
Oh no, yeah, you're fine. I'm 19 years young. I did my birthday was June 27th, so I'm only like a month into 19, but it's going well so far. What can I say?
Yes, I can tell you stories back then. You know, we used. Okay, I'm gonna stop. Yeah, I'm feeling old. But yeah.
No way.
Good for you.
Thank you.
Okay, so yeah, and the others. So where did you got your Matt? Where did you got your musical? I mean, bass is usually. I'm a bass player myself, so I know what I'm talking about. It's usually the least favored one to get picked up by somebody. So usually it's like, oh, you play drums and you sing and you play guitar and okay, you're the last one. You play bass.
Yes.
So how did you come to that? So it was how it happened.
Exactly
No,
what happened.
Tell me the truth.
No, you're exactly right. So basically, kind of similar story to John. I was 10, and I wanted to be Elvis. So my parents got me an electric guitar for Christmas, and then I realized that you needed talent to be like Elvis, and so I kind of stopped playing guitar for a while. I picked it back up around 3.5 years ago. And since then, like I've really become just addicted to music. And so coming into school, like I mentioned earlier, getting my roommate who was a drummer, I knew being in Nashville, I wanted to take advantage of the opportunity that this city provides. And so just finding guys to play with. And then I found John. In John, I found someone who not only I did, yeah, that is true. Not only someone who is just a guitar god, but someone who and record as well and write songs.
Don't let this hear your pastor blaspheme.
It's true. It's true.
But yeah, so basically I came in knowing guitar and ukulele, and finding John and Pierce. When you're in a band and you have these two guitar players who are just miles better than you go, okay, you guys can both play. That's fine. And so I decided, all right, I'll take up bass duties because, like you mentioned, that definitely is more of like the fundamentals.
The ukulele also have only 4 strings, right? So it's kind of you stick with 4 strings.
Yeah. But I mean, since coming home, I've really enjoyed learning more about like music theory and just kind of just song structure and just things that I could not have pictured myself knowing even 3 months ago. I mean, honestly, I would say that like John and Pierce, the guys in the band, have been my biggest inspiration for learning how to learn. They've really pushed me to a level that I could not have. Thanks, guys. I couldn't have.
We're doing hearts here, just for people who don't see it or hear it on the podcast. Yeah, no, and honestly, the bass is almost always a little bit underrated. You can do a lot of things with bass. Bass is the connection between the drums and the guitar usually, and so you can do rhythm, you can do melody, you can actually it's quite versatile if you really get into it. But yeah, most of the time bass players are the stupid ones and just laughed at. So yeah, I will not laugh at you.
Thank you.
And Pierce, where did you get your musical chops from?
Sure. So as a kid, my parents wanted me to play sports because that was
as a kid. Yeah, I remind you that you are, in my eyes, still a little bit
sure.
younger.
As a little kid,
as a little
maybe
kid,
I'm still a little kid. I was 2 guys.
Baby Pierce.
God.
I assume you're also.
I don't want to
19
play
or
football,
something.
Dad.
Yeah, we're all 19.
Okay, good.
I'm 18.
Okay,
oh, see, I said.
But
when's your birthday,
Matt? My birthday's in like a month.
Dude, I'm sending you a card.
You're a shitty friend, Matt. Okay. It's okay. You don't have to send me a card. Just money.
Okay.
Anyway.
I see. Hey, my birthday is coming up too, by the way. Who wants to send me a card or money? I take both.
We'll send you a card and money.
All listeners.
No. Sorry. Go ahead, Pierce. I don't want to interrupt.
Sure, but anyway, so my parents wanted me to play sport, and I was really bad at sports. Like I would get in the baseball team, and like I'd be like running behind all the other kids, and I'd be like a mile behind the other kids. It would just be awful. And then soccer, same thing. Football, same thing. Swimming, same thing. Every sport I tried, I was by far the worst one. And so my dad is like, "What the hell is this kid good at?" And seriously, and so he's like, "All right, son. So we're gonna take you to guitar lessons and buy a guitar." And the first day at guitar lessons, the teacher goes to my dad and he goes,
hey, your kid's really good at this. And my dad's just shocked. My dad's just in just anaphylactic a state of near death because he's just so shocked that I'm decent at something. And like the first day, the guy would notice, and so he keeps sending me back. And then like he buys me guitar, like a nice guitar, and like I really got into it, so I started playing every day. I too took too much time playing Boulevard of Broken Dreams and the like with the 4 chords or whatever, and just spending time with the pentatonic scales and a looper, just eating my way through solo after solo or whatever. But nonetheless, I ended up getting pretty good, and I had this wonderful teacher by the name of Jeff Caldwell, who is, I guess he's now like a recluse in South Carolina. Who knows what he's doing now? But he did move to South Carolina, but he was a really, really big influence on my guitar playing. Made me want to be much better. And then I went to college, thought I was never going to do music. Oh, that's not even true. I skipped a step. I released an album, actually.
Really?
In high school. In high school, I met a producer guy who also happens to be he's a worship pastor at a church. Baptist Protestant Christianity is in our roots. Yes. I'm serious.
Okay, I see. Okay, yeah. I have to, cut it down with all the blasphemy.
What? Oh yeah. No,
No,
not
sorry.
at all.
I was. Anyway, no. Go ahead. Sorry.
So he too is a pastor at church, and we did an album. We produced an album, and it led to all sorts of things. I got nominated for like a Nahoku Award, which is basically the Hawaiian Grammys, and then I got to go to this weird Assembly of God Fine Arts Festival in Houston, Texas, and we won like 3rd place out of 150 bands in like the rock band original song category.
Wow.
Yeah, it was this weird phenomenon, and like I've done like touring and stuff for a little bit. It was a really weird time in my life. And then I went to college, and I thought I was never going to pick up an instrument again. And then Matt basically bothered me into playing with the band, but then I also realized how good these guys were, and I wanted to play with them. So, yeah.
It sounds like you're already an old guy who can, and then I did some touring and I did an album and, and then I stopped and, and I never wanted to do it again. And then I started again. Yeah. You're just 18, man. That's crazy.
I'm an old soul. I
see. I can clearly see that. No, it's fine. It's actually fun. So we got through all the backstories now, I guess. Anyway, so I mean, it's not really my place to talk about it, but as I follow I used to live in the United States. I used to live in Maryland, in Silver Springs, actually, and
nice.
So I also worked for the Congress shortly. So I'm always following the American politics, and maybe not the best topic, but you have an election coming up. So I'm actually not a fan of both, I have to admit. But maybe what's your take on it? I mean, it's not the same like last time where you had Hillary and Trump. Yeah. Now you have Biden and Trump, and not really.
Oh, it's the same
Trump,
exact goddamn thing.
Is it really?
Yeah, it is an establishment corporate moderate candidate against Donald Trump. That is not a good dichotomy. That's not the dichotomy you really want in your country.
But who would be there? There's this young lady. I forgot her name. Felisa Cortez or something.
Oh, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. Yeah,
exactly. So she seems to be cool, and of course I'm a German. I'm not in it at all. I like Bernie Sanders. He's a cool guy. He's a cool dude, and I'm saying this, and I grew up behind the Iron Curtain. I grew up in the Russian zone, so I know what communism and socialism really means. And this is, of course, not working. So I know he's not talking about that. So because it's really, really crazy. But anyway, you have no real. Biden is Biden is not a real. I'm kind of like. In like the last time, you cannot really, it doesn't matter what you choose, you cannot really win. That's my problem with you right now. I mean, a few.
Well, Matt Gillette,
United
Matt
States.
and I are both political science majors, as it happens.
Really? Oh,
Yo.
cool. Oh, see, I
Yes.
didn't ask you about this,
So-
what you were really majoring in, because I mean, we just talked about music and okay, so Matt is political science. What is John majoring about?
I'm a biomedical engineering. I'm a lame boy.
Wow. So get the vaccine done soon.
I know, we gotta get it. One of these days. I do actually. I work at the lab. Well, I work at a lab that they were featured on like a Discovery News video for coming up with some kind of like vaccine. I didn't watch the whole thing, so I can't give like detailed commentary on it or anything like that. But it's the Crow Lab at Vanderbilt VUMC. I don't know. It was kind of cool. I was scrolling through YouTube one day and it's like these guys are developing antibodies that can fight the virus. I'm like, those are my freaking coworkers. It was kind of cool.
I see.
Kinda
So
ethics on.
so you're on the forefront. It's good to hear. Yeah. I mean, I guess you don't know this, but Germany is kind of in front of the second wave. Is coming up now.
Oh,
It
man.
seems like it.
Okay.
The numbers going up again. So I'm praising
It's
for the
unfortunate.
impact. Basically, yeah. It's but as far as I can tell, with I mean, you are the right person to talk to, John. Is it seems like it will be kind of flu-like in the way that it always mutates. So you don't be really safe even if there's a vaccine. Like with a flu vaccine, it has to be redone every year or something because it's fast mutating, and so yeah, we got a new.
It's unfortunate. There really
I
is
had
no
to say
like
it.
perfect solution. No, it's okay. It's okay. There is no like perfect solution or one thing that's gonna solve it. I do believe at some point it probably will just kind of. I don't know if I'd say return to normal, but I wouldn't bet that by the time that we have a vaccine that it will even matter so much that like I don't know, like
You're thinking about herd immunity or something like this?
No. So like, I don't know. It's just the issue is that like just like you mentioned, like the actual virus itself is constantly mutating. So even if we did get a vaccine for it, it won't necessarily matter. And I think by then people will be so kind of irritable and wanting to get back to just normal life that they'll just do it.
Mm-hmm.
But
okay. But yeah, okay.
kinda just
So yeah.
depends.
Anyway, maybe let's talk about Piers. We started out about so what would be a good candidate, but I think they are already set for these both candidates, right? Or is there a possibility that we can change it?
So if you want, I'll give you my take on it. I'll have to go in like about 10 minutes if that's okay. But
That's fine. That's fine. We have all the time in the world. I wanted to talk with you guys about whatever comes to mind, and this is an interesting topic for me as well.
Before I go, I'll give you my political take, which is basically this. I definitely support Bernie Sanders more than either of the current candidates. I think that this country needs free healthcare for a variety of reasons, which we can get into. We need better nationalized education that doesn't take property taxes. Immigration is good for our GDP, at least for right now. And we need to be thinking about automation. We need to be thinking about getting an NIT or a UBI in place so that we can handle automation when it happens. But for now, immigration is still good.
You rehearse this speech, huh? I mean, you're firing very fast. Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
Sure, but and we need to think about getting the workers, the jobs back from China and from whatever, so that we can be protectionist and we can dictate what we want China to do instead of being so economically dependent on them. So a candidate like Sanders does all these things, whereas a candidate like Biden or a candidate like Trump doesn't, because Biden is the sort of globalist moderate who like is kind of pro-war and kind of doesn't have a very good, more or less pro-war. He just doesn't have a good track record with it.
Okay, yeah, he's pro-war. Okay, that's new to me. But what do I know?
He's not a staunchly pro-war candidate. He's not he's not like a Bush or a Clinton type where he's like wants to go to war, but he hasn't opposed war in the past. He voted for the Iraq War. He waged war under Obama, and he hasn't expressly come out as anti-war, which gives you the impression that he's going to spend a lot of time bombing the Middle East.
It's really silly. I mean, this is also Obama did, right? So it was, and you see where it got us. anyway, go ahead. Sorry.
No, absolutely. But that's exactly what I'm saying. He's not a good candidate. But then if you look at the dangers that Trump poses, right? Like the denial of the coronavirus, the sending federal troops into Portland to stop riots and not leaving it up to the state government. This is not a candidate that we want to support or keep in office. And so, if you buy what Bernie's saying, he's just saying that we need to vote for Biden so that Trump is out of office and then work from there, which I sort of agree with. I think that's a pretty good state of mind. And I will probably end up voting for Biden myself, but it's not because I like him. It's not because anybody likes him. It's more just because he's in many people's
he's the lesser evil.
He's
the lesser evil of, yeah, exactly.
Hashtag settle for Biden.
Exactly. Hashtag settle for Biden 2020. But seriously, and I honestly get this. I really think that's what our country is going to do. I really believe it. I don't think that Trump does a good enough job of making himself look like a good candidate. Because Ben Shapiro said this. I don't even like Ben Shapiro, but he said this. And he said that politics is two things. It's making yourself look good and making people want to vote for you, and making the other person look bad.
The opposite, yeah, exactly.
And Trump does a good job with number two. He does a good job making people not want to vote for.
He does a lot of number two.
He does not. But he doesn't do a good job with number one. He doesn't do a good job making people want to vote for him. And I think especially now that he's aligned himself so heavily with like the sort of nationalist sort of image of low-class white Trump voters who are uneducated, and that's in the public's eyes, that's his voter base, right? It doesn't matter what his actual voter base is. That in the public's eyes, that's what they think, and that's not the majority. Angry white poor people is not the majority in this country. We've got a lot of diversity. We've got a lot of whatever. And the more educated people, the upper middle class, the entire lower class, especially the non-white lower class, all of these people hate him, especially because they see him as this sort of right-wing populist nationalist candidate that in a lot of ways he is. And in some ways he isn't, or whatever. We can discuss that too, but he's just not an appealing candidate anymore. And so if he wins, it's going to be because nobody comes out for Biden, because he does a good job of making Biden look bad, but he doesn't make a good job of making himself look good. So I think the voter turnout is going to be terrible. And I think that most likely Biden will win, but I'm not 100% sure.
And I'm a little bit afraid because he bashes how you call it, the letter voting, mail voting. He bashes a lot. So I'm really afraid that if he loses, he will kind of not accept it, and I don't know what will happen then. I don't know your constitution so well. What is going on if there's a dispute or something?
They will oust him if he loses and he doesn't accept it. They will oust him. I'm pretty sure.
For me, from the outside, it's so impossible. This guy is a clown. It's really, how can you take this guy seriously? But then I also try to think, like he must do something right to kind of I don't know. He has still support. I mean, he's still there, and still people suck up to him and stuff, I was like you see Fauci when he's saying something really stupid, or this other doctor when he says, oh, you have to swallow light to get to cleanse yourself or something, or I mean, how stupid can he be? Sometimes I think it's an act, and sometimes I think he is really that stupid, but
I think
it's
really
so
that stupid.
But he is on one of the most important places in the world, and such a guy. How can this happen? It's impossible.
My theory, which probably doesn't matter, but my theory is that he does a really good job of letting everybody know how corrupt the DNC is, because the Democratic Party is just insanely corrupt. They're in the pockets of the oil industry. They're in the pockets of the military-industrial complex, like Lockheed Martin and those sorts of companies. They constantly have to take money from these people who aren't they aren't liberals. They aren't leftists. They aren't even on the left. These are people who have vested interest in staying in the Middle East. If you wonder why Obama couldn't get out, it's because like his super PACs. If you look at who supported him and gave him all of his money, it's just oil companies. They're so corrupt. They're so intrinsically corrupt that you can get all of these, these populist sort of moderate to right wing people to just say, hey, look at this candidate, look at Hillary Clinton, look at Joe Biden, look at just how much this person is a puppet for whatever the the Democratic National Convention wants to do with them. Isn't that scary? Isn't it scary that your president is going to be entirely subject to a corporate agenda? Yes, it is scary, you know. And is that scarier than this unknown, out of pocket sort of clown candidate, you know, in Trump? You know, is it scarier? I honestly don't. And in 2016, I think it wasn't. I think it was scarier. You know, the idea of a Democrat who was just totally in the pockets of the oil companies. But I think in 2020, now that we know who Trump is for a fact, I think Trump is scarier.
I hope so. I hope so. What I also think from me, from the outside, it's I sometimes have a feeling a big problem for United States is also there's you have only two parties. I know you have more than two, but it's basically just Democrats and Republicans, right? So and there have to be everything in every party. So you know, it's kind of I don't know if you know about the German system. We have different parties, and we are standing for different things. So
yes.
This is kind of really tough for me to, you have only black and white basically in the United States. And this is not how the world is. The world is gray, and there's always things, you know, you have to, you know, once you are in power, you cannot just do whatever you want. You have to kind of help them and that. And, you know, you cannot just change the system completely. You do little steps to do it, to get it to a better way, you know? But I really see, for me, at least as my perspective, that this two-party system is really like, it's either yes or no, but there is more than yes and no, you know? It's kind of like, you have kind of, yeah, what do you think about this? Would like a third candidate or a third or fifth or whatever parties, would this help?
I have to go after this comment because the guy just told me, but I believe that we should have at least four parties, because we need a conservative Republican party, we need a liberal party, we need like a far left socialist party, and then we need like a libertarian party who wants like small government. At the very least, we need those four. And if you want to if you want to divide the conservatives into two parties, you could have like a nationalist, far right, populist party, and then you could have like a Christian party, because there's a lot of Christians who vote on the issues of abortion and gay rights, which
and family,
they don't like those
exactly,
things. But they're also like, but these people are pro-immigration. They're pro, like, these are pro like social issues. They're pro like education and all these other things. And they have to vote Republican because they usually care most about are abortion and LGBT rights, which, first of all, is stupid issues, but that's a whole nother discussion. But they'll vote for these people who are not in most of their best interests because they align with the things they care most about. You know,
yep.
So maybe separating into a 5-party system would be a good idea too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think so too, because it's like, look at Trump. I mean, how can he get any Christian votes? This guy is all over, you know, grabbing by the pussy and I don't know, married 3 times, 4 times or something, and having all these affairs and stuff. So, you know, I mean, whatever, you know, it's his life, you know. But if you, yeah, so you have only this choice or another choice. It's that's, yeah, okay, good to know that you see the same, because I'm really like here in Germany we have, I don't know how many parties, we have a lot, but there's only like 4 or 5 big ones where you really can vote, and then otherwise you would throw away your vote like you did do with your third party thing. There's who has this phone on?
Me, I've got to go. I'm sorry. I have another interview. I'm so
okay.
Sorry. Thank you.
Okay. So sorry.
Matt,
okay.
Matt, defend my positions. Defend my socialist positions. Or not really socialist. I'm just kidding, but it's fine. All right. Bye. Thank you so much for having us on.
Talk to Bernie Sanders and get him as a candidate. Okay.
Absolutely.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, Piers.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, sorry. This maybe we find a way back to music somehow.
Sure.
How can we do this? So what's going on in exactly a segue? What's going on in the music scene right now? I mean, I guess the clubs are closed in the United States right now, and so is there? I read about there's in how you say, in car cinemas, there is places where you can play shows and stuff. Is there something around you where you can still have live music?
Well, I can't speak. I can only pretty much speak to my kind of small town area. So Henderson is a town, I think, of like 50,000 people. But it's mostly rural. Everything's like kind of spread out. So you don't really get like these condensed areas with like tons of businesses and whatnot. There is still, like, I guess there's opportunities where I could do stuff if I wanted to, but I'm taking classes online right now. So it's not like I can really dedicate all that much time for working up a set list and going out and really playing. Not to say I couldn't, but there are restaurants that have outdoor seating, and I know that those places do have, I guess, opportunities where people can play live. But I think those are scheduled events. I don't think it's like an open mic where just anybody can go up. And it's kind of just dependent on like how far the stage is from people or tables or whatever venue it is, you know. So
yeah, and I'll speak to Nashville just for 1 second. So Nashville is in Tennessee, and for those who are unaware, Tennessee is like a very kind of red state, very right leaning, and so they're less kind of restrictive with the coronavirus policies and closures. So Nashville in particular, like their economy, like a lot of it depends on the live gigging. And so as of like 2 weeks ago, the mayor John Cooper announced that like live entertainment is permitted. So like as in like bands are allowed to be playing live. And then again, is that representative of the United States as a whole? No, probably not. But when you have a combination of a very red state and also the fact that it's Nashville, so it's like Music City, you know. So it's
Nashville is kind of even I heard of Nashville because Nashville, Tennessee. This is their country. There is where all the big stars are and constantly and there's a lot of competitions. I heard. I used to live in Budapest in Hungary, and there I met an American, and his goal was to play with his blues band at Nashville, Tennessee. This is the holy grail of for country music and blues and whatever.
It really is.
So yeah. Okay.
I even saw Greta Van Fleet at a Bed Bath & Beyond one time. It was pretty cool.
Cool.
Just passing by.
Yeah. No, I'm not so starstruck here in my little hometown, but well, I'm becoming a star, of course.
Yeah.
Okay. So anyway, is there something you wanna talk about? I can also give you play the ball over to you.
Oh man, Matt, what you got?
Man, I guess
tossing it on you.
I don't know. I think we covered a lot. I just want to say that like we're really, really grateful that you gave us this opportunity. It's like a platform to kind of speak.
You're very welcome. You're very welcome. I always, this is, I mean, I'm honestly enjoying meeting new people, and who knows, once this fucking coronavirus is over, I might be able to travel again and come back to the United States one day and see you live, whatever. I really love this, being connected to people and how are you doing? And who knows, you might be the next big thing. So in 5 years, you say, oh, there was this old guy, this guy from Germany back then. And I just love it. I just love to talk about the things I'm interested in, and you're obviously interested in too. So you're very welcome. That's what I'm saying in a lot of words.
And I think we're definitely really, really excited to be able to kind of start touring again. Although even with because we're Nashville seeing another surge again. And my guess is that just because live entertainment is permitted doesn't mean that every single restaurant's going to allow it. And, it depends on how strict our school is as far as if they even allow us to kind of do you have to self-quarantine if you go play in a gig off campus or not? Because we don't want to kind of get in trouble with our school. But we're definitely really excited for the live gigging to pick back up. We think it definitely will in 2021. And almost in a way, it's kind of played into our favor. When you think about how the vast majority, pretty much how every band starts is you get a group of guys, you're jamming together, you're having fun, you're playing cover songs. Your first live performances, they're all cover songs. And so that's how you entertain people. With us, there was never an option to play live. There was like for 1 week, and then we got sent home. So we've just been restricted to doing original songs. And it's probably going to stay that way for at least another 6 months.
I think honestly, this is a really good thing for you, because what I often see with bands who start like this, you know, you're absolutely right. Most bands start like this. Once you only do cover songs, then you automatically, once you switch to do your own songs, you automatically take the same formula. You know, it's like A, B, and then bridge. And if you never done that, then you are more free to kind of, let's do just one beat the whole song, or, you know, let's have no chorus and just have a verse or whatever, you know.
Sure.
So this is what I really saw a couple of times in the past with cover bands. We were not able to, and now comes the solo. Does every song needs a solo? I mean, sometimes it does, but sometimes it doesn't, you know. For me, it's always the approach, what's best for the song, and not just like, I want to show off my musical chops and show off whatever I can do. You know, sometimes it's not good to do everything you can do in one song just because you can do it. You understand what I mean? So for you, it's actually quite good. But I mean, the situation is bad, but you're doing the best out of it.
Yeah,
absolutely.
You're definitely right. Yeah.
Okay, guys. I guess this is a nice end point for it, and this is just for now, I would say, because we can do this again, maybe touch base in a year and see where you are.
Sure.
Hopefully in the top, in the billboards or wherever I can find you then. And then you're like, this guy again. No, I don't know what to talk about.
Oh, man.
Scheduling problems. Sorry, we have scheduling problems. No, but anyway, let's stay in touch. You know, I mean, you just said, Matt. I mean, or you as a band, please send me your new singles every month. You know, I might not because you know you know this, I guess. I'm more into gothic, dark wave, and industrial. It's more kind of my thing. But I also listen to all the fringe stuff, and if it fits, it fits. You know, for me, it's quite easy. I have a really cool job. Either I like it or I don't like it. So that's basically it. So, but please don't take it personal. If you know, it's just my opinion. If I not feature every single you send my way.
Right.
And just as a, you don't have to use premium or something. I listen to everything I got. So standard credits is way enough for Submit Hub.
Awesome.
Thank you so much. And also that's another great thing about the singles is that, and I've kind of said this before, like amongst just the four of us, but like one of our strengths is also one of our weaknesses in that like we have a very wide interest as far as genres go. And so what's nice about singles, as opposed to like an album where you're tied down to one sound, you know, Oceans sounds completely different than Broke. So it's nice to kind of be able to experiment. I know we have like a very like punk rock song in the works. We have like a synth wave kind of vibe going on with another one. And so it's nice with these singles is that there's no pressure. You can hear the feedback as people kind of respond to songs and whatnot. And so that's actually what the song we have coming out next is a remaster of an old song we had that we got feedback on. We decided that, you know, it's a single, so we can just take their advice. We can try and make the best music we can make. We have an audience. We try to make them happy. So yeah, you definitely have a good point with keep sending you stuff.
And you have a good point there too, because this is sometimes what I really don't understand. And like, you know, for me, music is a vast field, and there is no right or wrong. There's only what you like or don't like, you know. And if you guys like the song, then this is of, in German we would say, this is half the rent. This is already enough, you know. If you are happy with it, that's and if you are happy, most likely other people will be happy. And I really I've seen bands where it's kind of like, oh, we cannot play this because it's not fitting in our repertoire, and this is not what we are, because we only do, I don't know, funk pop or whatever, you know. And it's kind of like, so what? I mean, if you like it, and if you stand behind it, and if why not? You know, I mean, there is no right or wrong. There's just, I like it, so I play it. And
exactly.
Yeah. Anyway, so that's good. Keep this attitude, because this will keep you not boxed in. And there's other bands. They kind of, I mean, we did it album-wise. Did every album something different, and some, you might lose some fans, you might win a few, but anyway, this is, you stay true to yourself. That's maybe the best thing you can do, because people can feel if you fake it. You know, if you're just running after a trend or something. Oh, this is in now, we need to do this, and who cares? This is out in 2 weeks. And you're not happy with it because you did it just for a cash grab or something. And if you're happy with it, you like to, I mean, think about it. If you're going on tour, you might play, you know, look at the Rolling Stones. They play songs for over 50 years. Anyway, you know, and you might still play it. So play something you really like. You know, that's my advice here.
Absolutely.
Anyway,
I appreciate it.
Yeah, no, I'm really looking forward to hear your next singles, and I will feature a few. I'm pretty sure, not all of them. Well, let's see. And then and in the end, you know, if you really want to make an album, you can see once you have, I don't know, X amount of singles, you can still do an album, because then going back to the beginning where we talked about it, because then it would mean an album is another release, and all your fans will say, oh, there's an album now, and they will come back and listen to it because they get it in their release radar and wherever you publish it. So that's not a bad idea also, and you're not fooling them. You just give them the package basically, and you can do some more cover artwork, Matt.
Yes.
And then some nice stuff, whatever, you know. So it's just it's going and going and going, and I think you're on the right path here.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Okay. Good. So maybe we stop now. I mean, Matt, you were recording. Just